As we move toward the infinite moves towards us. Today is today, October 1st, 2025. We have come a long way to where we are today, the day we have been waiting for, the beginning of our work in earnest. It is, therefore, a glorious day to start a noble assignment. It is not an ordinary day. It is not an ordinary day as far as the Kabbalah Connection community is concerned, for it marks a second phase of our journey toward a goal that is full of promise for humanity. It is only when you are involved in the work of the community that you will appreciate what is being said here. As has been said, any work which involve essentially the mental processes, most beginning with an assessment of the tool which promote optimum performances of the system. That is why your facilitator, who have been in it for over 50 years and has acquired enough experience to know the requirement necessary for success. I must say with honesty that the type of work that will be engaged in the Kabbalah Connection community must beginning with a full development of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual component of the body. In other words, for success all participant must be physically fit, mentally balanced, emotionally stable to be able to gain spiritual power, to impact our world with the limitless light of divine wisdom and understanding. Have this at the back of your mind as we continue. You are welcome to the community. The presiding message was intended to arouse your curiosity with what is most important in the Kabbalah Connection community, as I now welcome you, extending my warm hands of fellowship into a venture that will surely be of immense benefit to you and your loved ones, and eventually the whole human race. We are together engaged in an assignment that will set the world free from the chain of enslavement and darkness enveloping our globe. African is our target, but every member of the human race, but the door is not closed to other members of the human race, because we all have a collective responsibility imbued in every human with quality that will make all of us see one another as one family with a united front to make our world a harmonious place as we march toward our destiny. It is worthy of note that the road toward a worthy destiny, as thorny as it may be, must commence with a warning to watch our thought, because they normally develop into words, and words may develop into deeds or action, and repeated action eventually leads to habit, from habit to character, which is now a behavior that inevitably attracts our destiny. The chaos, turbulence, and the pains that characterize life on earth today are the outcome of our carelessness in not guiding our thought, words, deeds, and habits to prepare us towards the ideal, which is the assignment of everyone in the Kabbalah Connection community. This ideal is the light needed to shine all over the world, saving us from calamities that is in the often threatening to swallow our planet, preventing us from fulfilling the purpose for which we have been made. Methodology: we have already mentioned some of the past ways that may lead to the attainment of our goal in the Kabbalah Connection community. Now let's us go on with the discussing. In addition to our preventive health program, those in the community will receive instruction on exercises that will develop their glandular systems, which run through the body from pineal gland to the solar plexus and gonads. Some of the exercises intended to improve the immune system and other function needed for success in scientific spirituality are breathing exercises, meditation, prayers, and other relevant work to bring about harmony in the entire body. As the message being presented to you now is for the general public, we have reserved the practical aspect of exercises and the purposes for which they are performed to bring about harmony in the entire body. The first of which only members of the group will receive from the 2nd of October 2025 and thereafter. Members will also be referred to relevant literature from which they can extract information to guide them in performing the exercises. As an integral part of our methodology, we shall touch on techniques related to astrology, the thyroid, theology, Christology, Sophism, and Hermetism, as well as the current scientific finds on the known condition of our universe today, especially on quantum physics and mechanics, etc. Our ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is the final goal, which is to sanitize the world and refine the character of humanity, through an understanding of the purpose for which we have been made and placed on earth. This understanding may trigger in us the need to pursue lofty goals in life by adopting values and ideals that will facilitate our attainment of these goals, despite the numerous distractions that adversely affect world peace and harmony, which lure us away from the good to the bad simply because the bad appears more attractive. Simply put, the ultimate goal of the Kabbalah Connection community is to simplify our effort in meeting the major challenges of life, such as ignorance, poverty, disease, evil, selfishness and greed for power, deception and insincerity, mortality or it dread and morbid laziness. Many systems all over the world have been applied with failure because of lack of proper understanding of the human mind, sometimes wrongly described as the heart. The heart is essentially meant to pump blood needed to nourish the various part of the body and direct the poor or bad blood to those organs that can purify it and send it back to absorb the nutrient needed in the entire body as earlier explained. The entire method is described as metabolism made up of anabolism and catabolism, which will be fully explained to the members of the Kabbalah community. It must be made clear to you here that all followers will receive information, but only those in the group will have access to the exercises because they are the ones who need them on the basis of their commitment and dedication to the ideals of the Holy Kabbalah. Since the Holy Kabbalah is based on the Old Testament of the Bible, essentially Genesis 1 verse 2 and 3, but there is room for references to other relevant part of the Bible which will help us have a better understanding of the tenet of the system. We cannot excuse the discussion needed to lead you in understanding the modality for success in every aspect of the Holy Kabbalah, because this has to do with the nucleus of the system. Our effort should be seen as a sincere attempt to make you the most enlightened citizens of the world, for that is the only way we can lead in making the world move away from chaos to peace, harmony, and progress in line with the heading of this message about moving to the infinite. We all want to excel in whatever is our profession or occupation, but most find it difficult to do enough for excellence or optimum performance. All the assurances I have been giving you are intended to strengthen your result for hard work, because nothing good comes easy, but if work you hard enough, something good will definitely happen to you. You must be reminded once again that unless we know your input in response to our output, we cannot know where to place you in the hierarchy. This is a community, not a family or a society. We must know ourselves well enough, but too much intimacy may result in emotional outburst capable of damaging the structure we are building to become a worldwide phenomenon. If you have just joined us, you have a lot more work to do to recover lose ground, because we may not repeat what has already been given to those who have been with us from the beginning, which was the brainstorming period just concluded. We have not said enough on methodology, which is open-ended, but are now poised to consider other issues you must know on this occasion. Classification of members and administration. In one of the posts you were told that we are operating in the form of an educational system based on 3 stages: primary, secondary, and tertiary, with the final stage which we do not want to mention to you here, but it is there in the post for those who may not want to wait for the knowledge. Most textbooks on the Kabbalah are online, but the larger aspect of the Kabbalah, to which we hope you will refer to from time to time, is available on AI, the internet, Google and Wikipedia, making the Kabbalah so open that we no longer have to take an oath of secrecy for the knowledge to be passed on to you. But you must be guided in the arrangement of bids that may come to you from time to time to avoid confusion, because if you do not do that, you may burn your fingers like stepping on a live wire without insulation. There are many exoteric orders in the world today which promise gold or diamond to their members and luring them to take an oath of secrecy only to learn what we have already given you, with more to give you without asking you to swear. But we know that there is the laws of cause and effect which are binding on those who are entrusted with rare knowledge, as we are doing now. It is not easy to progress without teachers or masters, especially where precious knowledge is made available to the entire world. At the moment, all of us are being treated as students or pupils within the primary levels. It is only in the course of interaction based on what has been covered that those who are advanced beyond the primary level will be identified and placed where they belong. Recurring silence from members of the community even when questions are asked is most discouraging to the teacher, because it indicates lack of understanding or interest. That has been the pattern observed in many spiritual groups whose sole interest is the income they make for disseminating knowledge. This group is not doing that, but we cannot continue to operate without the contribution from member in appreciation of our commitment to them. That is why we shall have a meeting of some members on the 26th of December to deliberate on the administrative aspect of the Kabbalah Connection community. As the community grows larger and weight of the community becoming too heavy for the prime movers. Information on the deliberation will be made known on the 1st of January 2026, but all members are supposed to contribute to the deliberation by text messages. Details on how to make this contribution will be released to you at the appropriate time. In addition to what you may have noticed is about the classification of members, it must be repeated that there are 3 categories of members so far. The first group is made up of Facebook friends who are not participating in the work of the Kabbalah community work, and the second category is the followers who are interested in the information concerning the Kabbalah Connection community. The third category is the Kabbalah Connection community, from where the leadership and future facilitators will emerge after the community have been adequately constituted. Our relationship with other spiritual groups. The KCC, being an organization of committed persons to the dissemination of ancient and modern wisdom, is not a religious, political, or simply a social organization. No, a business venture is not operating in competition with any organization, but we believe strongly that it is only through cooperation, especially in sharing knowledge, that the world will benefit and progress to a much higher level than what we have attained so far. We have noticed this happening in the scientific sphere, where there is a free exchange of knowledge among the scientists to make the world what it is today. If cooperation is given enough prominence in every field of human endeavor, such as religion, culture, sport, economics, and diplomacy, the world would have advanced far beyond the present level of development. There would have been much fewer challenges than the 9 we have already mentioned at our areas of attention and action. It is this type of cooperation we expect from our member from the onset of our work. We must make a special mention of evil in our work, so dreaded by our Creator, to the extent of making the Creator regret creating us. Unfortunately, there seems to be no organization that has identified itself as existing for sole purpose of coping with the greatest challenges to be attacked frontally, to eliminate or mitigate, so as to create room for more peace and harmony to existence today. Cooperation, not competition, is what we are insisting right away, for without it the world will continue to glide toward the precipice. We cannot say too much about this very important topic about cooperation. None of us is an island, and the fact is that more than 99% of biological and chemical structures are the same. We should also allow our mental structure to move in the same directions. We believe very strongly the apparently free-for-all bloodshed and destructive violence taking place in many parts of the world today are avoidable if only we take enough time to meditate on our similarities as against diversities. Working across purposes cannot contribute to any form of peace, harmony, and progress. Polarities in every aspect of life. In the Kabbalah of numbers, number 2 represent polarity, duality, and opposition. Polarity is the most important in our discussion at this stage because of his dynamism. We are often told or reminded that 2 heads are better than 1. This have far-reaching implication in life because of its contribution the attainment of goals, both physical and spiritual, despite the supremacy of number 1, which also represents unity. Our Creator in his wisdom says that it is not good for a man to be alone, and went on to create woman as the polarity, definitely not the opposite of the man, as a result of which procreation to populate the world. We see this polarities occurring many times in the opening chapters of the Bible. For examples, this opening chapter talks about light and darkness, heaven and earth, day and night, which is the repetition of light and darkness. We see this also happen in the story about the tree of life and the tress of the knowledge of good and evil, which epitomizes the enlargement of the comparative analysis of the life Cain and Abel, although opposition occurs here as compare with good and evil. In any case, polarity presents us with more meaningful duality than opposition. Polarity introduces here to explain the law of nature that has not been given enough prominence in our daily affairs. This aspect of our discussion should have been reserved for discussion at group level, which would have deprived millions, if not billions, from this special knowledge. Though not detailed enough for discussion, it is believed that some intelligent, curious, and creative persons can make something out of it to the extent of applying it to improve their lives. This law of polarity is actually a very important law of the Kabbalah of numbers because it seems to be the first law of dynamism of all natural laws. It is actually the laws that the Creator applied even to himself. When some student or watchers of the Creator are inclined to refer to the Creator either as man or a woman or hermaphrodite or androgynous, this law may be extended to other aspect of life. For example, the law implies that any object or event has its opposite side, better known as the polarity. For example, it is often said that if at any time a poor person has access to wealth, the is always the other polarity, which is poverty lurking in the dark waiting for an opportunity to take the person back to poverty. We can see this happening between men and women tended to attract each other because of the biological need to have children, to populate our world. Whenever you gam what we may describe as good luck, bad luck is waiting somewhere to attract you to his side through the mismanagement of your wealth. Most people cannot manage wealth to the extent of making it give them happiness when wealth does not give a person happiness that may create a condition worse than poverty. Simply put, always accept a polarity of a condition in which you have found yourself. Even colors like red, yellow, blue, and green have their supplementary colors, which is a law of nature we cannot avoid. It simply means that we should never be too excited or overwhelmed with any condition you find yourself. People work very hard to excel in whatever they are doing, but whenever success is attained, failure is in the dark to take that success away, or perhaps something will happen to make you regret the condition you have found yourself. But there is a remedy provided by nature, and that is the ability to manage whatever condition that is your potion. This does not mean that we should thrive for high attainment, but the attainment of your goal has to go with your ability to manage it by allowing it to serve its full purpose. Whatever complication you go through in your understand of this law will be explained to our group members. As you move towards the infinite moves towards you. In line with the Kabbalistic tradition, we are ending our message from where we started, just as number 10 has the same value as number 1. This heading is a summation of the tradition, which says that every effort we make to attract the Creator tends to stimulate that Creator to begin a movement towards us, for us to meet at a point for the satisfaction of our wishes, but our movement must go with honesty and sincerity of purpose. The infinite will never move if you remain static, meaning that you must first initiate the movement. This is where at least 98% of those who seek favor from the Creator fail, because prayers are offered on the basis of emotion and not need. In such situation, the Creator is not moved. Prayer or supplication must be presided by certain activities to give it power, that is the power of moving the benefactor. We cannot be too detailed about this at this time, but most of you may understand the way to go. Our first exercise will center as what may be regarded as astrology. Astrology has now taken the center stage in spirituality, following the recent discovery by scientists that there is a similarity between the element found on the stars and those that are seen in humans, such as in the DNA and the RNA, and that the 98 chemical element found on Earth are also found in the planets and stars. So our exercises are main only for the group members, will involve the sun, the moon, our Earth, and the stars that will be on